Then we decided to test cause and effect. So what happens when ice melts? Or if you break something into two parts, how many parts are there? And we thought it was important to ask these series of questions because we wanted to see if it understood, the next step and what would happen if you did something.
Right, and so you could think, for example, if you have we're always thinking about cooking, because first of all, I love to cook, and Kathleen and I like to cook, but it's also like a very easy explanation. So
Yeah,
you'd be
for
like,
everybody to understand.
okay, well, if you gave me the recipe for this, what if I put this in the refrigerator? What if I do this? And you'd want the systems to provide a little bit of help there. Otherwise, if you're building an app, let's say if you're building an Alexa skill or a Google Home, so you have to encode all this knowledge in because the platform doesn't have any of this cooked into it. Not to play on words there.
Alexa, what happens when you melt ice?
I don't know that one.
Hey Cortana, what happens when you melt ice? According to Answers.com, as ice melts, its framework collapses and it becomes more dense as it turns to liquid water.
Yeah, it's a long about way of getting there. But
Yeah.
I figured out what you were trying to ask, which is great. So obviously, Cortana, as you start looking at our benchmark, and if you look at our data, you'll see that Cortana has been trained much better on scientific and medical and that sort of stuff.
Right.
So
And this also brings up a good point because we've started to see voice assistants in more situational settings, such as hospital rooms, for example. And if a patient is using it to ask specific questions like, what will happen if I take Tylenol in my current condition? And it doesn't know that, or it provides a wrong answer, that can be potentially deadly.
Right, and actually it is true. There was an article recently about how many hospitals now are putting voice assistants into patient
patient rooms.
Some of it's really simple, like change the television channel and don't call the assistant to do
Right.
those. Really
Also with bed settings, it can lift the bed up or down. It can turn the lights on and off depending on the state that the patient is in. They may not be able to move around. So this helps them feel a little bit more in control of everything.
Yeah, but just case
So
in point.
doing like basic voice commands with your device, okay. But when you start asking it questions that require a little bit more intelligence, then this is where you need to know its limitations.